Welcome back to Backroomconvo. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M, Daddy Buddy Party, aka She's Your Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, if you're a fan of port, stay tuned because you might like what we're cooking. The song of the day is Amandla featuring Aymos and Jessica LM. The song was released 2023. It's 4 minutes, 31 seconds long. And currently on Spotify, it has about 1.6 Spotify listeners. It's a good song. Even the cover art kind of speaks about the music behind the cover art. You know, the cover art tells the story of the song before you even listen to the song. And I think the fact that as a nation in South Africa, for those of you who didn't know, we are mourning the loss of Lady Zahara. No, not Lady Zahara, I'm so sorry, the loss of Zahara. So for those of you who didn't know, Zahara, I'm so sorry. So Zahara's news came out this week that Zahara on the 11th of this month, she went back to the Creator, the Father, Jehovah. Yes, you know, he's not yet being laid to rest, but you know, we are going through that as a nation, mourning the death of Zahara. And you know, this song, I think it's the right song for us as a nation to go through what we are going through at this moment. You know what I mean? To mourn the death of Zahara, an icon, a star. And I know sometimes we as human beings don't tend to appreciate what we have now. It's gone. We do have that. It's not only about South Africa, but in the world in general. Everybody comes off the woodwork to say, you know, yeah, we love this, we love that. The how this, you are saying this now, but why didn't you say that? And I'm like, you know, as much as we could have done that all, but you know what I say, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, we are still human beings. You know what I mean? We are still human beings. We are still allowed to feel. And given whatever that's happening in the world right now, you know, I'm going through what I'm going through. She's going through whatever she's going through. McG, Saul, or whomever behind, you know, or closer to Zahara. We all go through different things in life, and it's unfair for me or for McG or for whomever to put or to say someone is responsible or someone was never present for Zahara. You know, time came and Sisi played a role. You know what I mean? She sang her lungs out, you know, unapologetically. So even though now, like, the clips are surfacing and we see the DJ Spool being put on blast. Yo, the deal between Zahara and DJ Spool didn't work out. Then accordingly, I'm just gonna give you an overview of what DJ Spool was saying. He was saying, there was a deal between Zahara and Sony. Was it Sony? I'm not sure if it's Sony. He said Sony, but I think it's Sony. You know, the deal was something like 100. Is it 100? Yeah, it was like 8, if I'm not mistaken. It was about 80 million rands, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, Sony took the split. I don't remember how much it took. The 75% split. The label took the 70. They took their half, and Zahara took her half, which was about like 500 million when they separated TS and Zahara. When they separated, she got a split, Spook and TS Records got this split, and whichever company which TS is the subsidiary of was like whatever subsidiary of like I don't know which subsidiary company or like subsidiary TS Record is under, you know. Does it have a deal with Sony, Warner Bros or Universal? But I think it's Sony, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Sony. Sony is a subsidiary it's a subsidiary of TS Records, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the story behind it in a nutshell, and I don't think now it's the right time for people to start poking and saying, profanity or words that are discouraging to the situation. Or I think at this moment it's time to mourn, instead of using words against one another. Now it's not the time to do that, but now is the time to unite and celebrate her life, to celebrate the things she's achieved. She won something like 17 summer awards. You know what I mean? If that's not big, or if that is not to celebrate, I don't know what is. I think as a nation, we had a fighter, we had a soldier, and I'm sorry that I keep on bringing this up, but, because I keep on seeing it on the internet a lot, and I'm like, I want to link this to rest. And I think the perfect song for the day, I've been listening to Amandla by Aymos featuring Zahara M. For this very reason, I'm like, this song is the hype song, it's just soothing to the moment or the experience that we are going through as people. You might have not lost to Zahara, or she might have never meant anything to you, but you do know the feeling of loss, or like what Zahara family is going through. But whenever you listen to the song, you can relate to whatever the family Zahara is going through. And this song not only reminds you of that, but it reminds you that not only does it remind you of what you have, or the moments that were lost, or the people you can bring back, you wish you can bring back to life, but it speaks again on valuing the moment, being present, being in the now, and I think for people, in a lot of cases, they don't live in the now. You know what I mean? People don't live in the now. They don't experience life fully, and they go in some of these things that they do, half ends. They're not fully in. I think if now is the time to make those mistakes, go fully in, make that mistake. This is life. You live, you learn, you grow, you get better. It's a battle each and every day. To wake up, to live your dream as a battle. Being a fearful person, not taking a shot at an opportunity that might benefit you. I think that song also speaks upon that, or shines light upon that. And for people that are listening to me, are going through this, and you might not have the most, or you might feel like God is not pulling up for you, but believe in the process. Be patient with the process. Don't do anything dumb to sabotage what God has for you. Because whatever God has for you, no man, according, this is Pharrell Williams, he said, no man can ever take it away from you, because what God has set on stone for you, no man can ever, sabotage, and I think it's very interesting, and, seeing this unfold, and I relate to this in my life and what I'm going through. I'm like, I haven't lost a lot of people that are closer to me in my life, and I don't think I have now someone I can say they can like pass over, and I feel a certain way, I feel a huge emptiness or loss. I don't think that I have that person in my life in this moment, because I think with me, I had my mom as one of those closest people. I had my grandfather as one of those closest people. And whenever those two people passed over, I felt like, and it is true, but see, I don't have anyone, As much as there are people, yes, there are people around you to show support, moral support, or whatever the case may be. But the gap that those people play, or the shoes that those people filled in my life, nobody can ever fill those shoes. And I'm not looking for anybody to fill those shoes, right? I'm not. And I've lived in the moment and appreciate everything as it came with everybody in my life. And I'm like, I'm grateful that I had a mother like that. I'm grateful that I had a grandfather like that. I was grateful where I am. Now I appreciate it now. But at some points, I think I was in the dark and I didn't see the brighter side or the other side. I'm not saying I'm all, but I'm saying, see, I had faith in the process. And my faith in the process led to whatever I have now, the relationships that I have, the friends that I have, the business relationships that I have, how I speak, how I think, has everything to do with that moment with my mom, my grandfather, or anyone for that matter. So I think when I share that, I always remember the loved ones, and I'm like, if there's anyone that's closer to you, you should always remind yourself to be a brother, to be a lover, to be a partner, to be available for your partner in your life. I think more than anything, bro, that is an amazing song. Shout out to Aymos and Zahara M for that amazing song. It's a masterpiece. So yeah, moving right along, man. I want us to talk about the shark story. There's a shark story that's happening in Cape Town and the Limpopo. So they knew. I never knew that sharks could live in rivers. I only knew like the only knowledge that I have is that sharks only live in oceans, because that's where I only saw them in real life. That's not in real life. I've only seen sharks in zoos and oceans only. I've never heard or seen a shark in that river. So news came out that the Perirevia in the Western Cape has captured the largest shark known to science in the Perirevia. Yeah, Perirevia. It's an Afrikaans name, Perirevia. So they saw the largest bull shark known to science. I don't know what that means, I don't know if it's the largest shark to be recorded or what's the story to science alone. Like, is it wordplay? Is it the largest shark on the book? Bull shark on the books? What's going on? I'm not clear on that. But it's the largest. But what caught my eye is the fact that a bull shark in the river, how does that even happen? Did anybody still spam or experiment and ended up placing a shark in those thingies? And from what I understand, there's people who do like kayaking, which is like, rowing. Is it rowing or kayaking? One of the two. I don't know if it's kayaking and rowing is the same thing, but one of the two. So people row in there, like people swim in there, in those waters. So for me, I'm like, that thing is not safe. That is not safe. It's not safe. It's not safe. If a shark is in the water and when you are rowing, that thing goes on already. It's an end game for you. People are rowing, people are, in those waters, they swim. And news came out because there's a bull shark. How does that affect people or locals from making money because of that one bull shark? And what's being done about this? Because from what I understand, even in Limpopo, there's places where there's sharks now. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. This seems like a man-made thing, like, let's find a way or genetically modify the shark genes or bull shark genes to help them live in rivers. I don't know, because I'm like, well, I don't know a lot about animals, and I think if there's anyone who knows anything about animals, please let us up and let us know. We can have a conversation, speak about this. You know what I mean? I don't have a lot of knowledge with the salt water, the river, it's dirty. Like, I want us to get in depth with that, man. To see if there's anyone we can have a conversation with around that. I'm so happy I'm happy to have you on the podcast so we can discuss that, because for me that is shocking. And I'm like, well, I've never really trusted water, because any water, in my opinion, I'm like a typical black person. So any water that like very dirty, a river, nothing is in, I'm like, here there's a shark. not a shark per se. There's a crocodile. In these waters, there's a crocodile. If there's clean water in the ocean, I'm like, I can't risk. I remember once I remember once I was in Cape Town, right? And I saw this speedboat. It was splashing through the waves and it went under the water. And I'm like, okay, that thing is going underwater for however long it takes underwater. It might be 5 seconds and I'm like, it only takes a second for a shark to just come there and snatch your head off, my nigga. And I'm like, I don't think I'm ready to go through that, because in my mind, I'm thinking of the worst case scenario, and that's the bad way to look at life. And I'm sorry, but I'm human and I'm working on that. I'm working to live outside of the box that I've created myself. You know what I mean? So, but this is news for sure. I'm not sure if we are ready to have sharks in rivers, but people did what they did there. So for those of you who just joined us now, we just spoke about the shark in Western Cape and Limpopo. We are about to talk about the Johnathan majors and the audios that have been released, the videos that have been released. But now we need to head over the break. I'm your host, Lesego M, Report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Let's meet after the break. Cheers. Welcome back to Backroomconvos. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M, Daddy Report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, if you're a fan of port, stay tuned because you might like what we're cooking. The song of the day is by Aymos. The name of the song is Amandla and it was released 2023. It's 4 minutes 31 seconds long, and on Spotify alone it's sitting on 1.6 million. And before we went on a break, I did say the cover art is amazing. Right? The cover art is so amazing that by just looking at the cover art, you can tell the story behind the song. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but the cover art speaks more about the music, so the music behind the cover art. And for the longest time, now that I come to think of it, I've just been creating, and obviously I know myself to be someone who's very creative, and I've done a lot of creative work, cover arts for the podcast. For those of you who've seen, I've done a lot for things at church, and I've done a lot, and as far as like cover art or graphic design, I've done a lot. I've done a lot as far as like lyrics, and I never wanted to talk about this, but lyrically, like being a creative writer, I did say a couple of times in one of the episodes when we were starting out, I am still like, God forbid, like one of the good days you hear one of the music that I get to put out to the world, you know what I mean? So I am also a lyricist. I do write a lot, and that kind of like helped me go through certain things in my life, like songwriting helped me. And now that I think about it, the song Amandla, to speak on it's amazing because at some point in my life, thinking like now Amandla, and I had only music, I had only lyrics to like speak how I feel, speak my mind, speak without being judged, without having the fear of being judged. I don't know if that makes any sense. Because sometimes you go through a lot and you don't have a lot of people to talk to. You're not comfortable with people that are around you with what you're going through. You're not comfortable enough to let people that are around you with what you're going through. And at some moments I remember in my life, there was a stage where I was even praying like 30 minutes, close to an hour, because I was going through a lot. I was going through trauma. And in that phase of my life, I was building my connection with God. I had to connect. I had to, take everything out that I felt didn't work for me. I had to speak it out. I had to put it down. I had to cast. I had to, cleanse myself, to bring myself to Him, to say that this is what I've been keeping inside. This is what I've been bottling inside. So I went through that entire phase, and I'm grateful that I got a moment where I'm like, oh, I went through this in my life, you know what I mean? I went through this, and now I am where I am, and creatively I'm able to channel everything that I do creatively in a positive manner. It's not dark, but it shines light, and it reflects my thoughts in a very positive manner. It gets to talk about what I'm going through, and I can never, like, I'm very artistic. I'm so very artistic. Well, I'm very artistic in a sense, Yaguti. Even my art, I pretty much care how it's being perceived. I think I'm very sensitive to let people in on the music that I wrote then, as opposed to, like, if I can write a verse now and just go on to a song, it won't be as deep as I would have had back then, because then it was more dark. It was more, I'm going through some things now, as opposed to now there's, there's a light, there's positivity, and like, one thing about the creative process, you can never know where it will take you, where it's taking you. I'm just there, like I'm in a bus or something. I'm just letting my mind take me wherever it's taking me, and I'm just penning it down, See, this is a skill that I have. This is the skill that God gave to me. I'm just embracing it by letting my mind roam free without having any barricades, holding me back. You can't do that. And the one place that I'm able to do that without having the fear of being judged is in my mind, in my creative space, where I'm able to hold the stress, not think about, he's gonna say this, he's gonna say this, that's my only place where I feel unjudged, where I feel pure in my thoughts, where I'm able to be a child, and it's so fragile, and it's something that's close to my heart. That's why it's harder for me to talk, to have that art in the world, because of my fear, because that is, like, my fragile spot, or like my fragile place where people can look me, and I'm like, oh, I can feel it the most. It's there. And like, now I want to go into studio with people that understand the vision, the picture that I'm trying to represent with my music, because now I was taking in people that I can get, people that I was exposed to. And sometimes, as much as people want to grow, want to develop, they want to be with you in the ride, they don't have the necessary skills. It's like, yeah, you're still building. I'm still building. I can see this. I can see, understand. We are not in the same wavelength as far as the skill. I'm very nice with the pen. Very nice for sure. But I get to meet someone who's not so nice with, like, production, and he doesn't understand certain things that I'm talking about. I'm like, oh, now it's not the time. But because I'm exposed to this now, I'm going to use it to my fullest advantage. And I've went through that, and I'm not sure if I am proud to release the music now, but hopefully in the near future I'll get to release some of the music that I'm working on, So yeah, shout out to Aymos. Yo, he brought you in to some of my closest thoughts, he brought you closer to me. But it is what it is, man. It's the podcast. This is very intimate for me. You get to see me. I get to, not for me to see you, but you get to see me speak about these things. And I couldn't have never imagined during the first episode there'll be ever a moment where I get to sit very confidently, no paper, nothing written down, and speak my mind to you, to the world, to the people that don't know me. And I've grown a lot, and I've learned a lot, and I'll always be grateful to the fact that I have a podcast now. I can connect to people all around the world, and I have connected with people all around the world, and I'm grateful for that, and the process has been amazing. Amandla is the song of the day by Aymos featuring Zahara, and currently sits at 1.6 million on Spotify alone. The song is 4 minutes 31 seconds long. So going back to business, I've seen a story on the internet. I thought maybe this can be something that we also cover on the podcast. So Jason Michael Majors, for those of you who don't know who that is, Creed 3, for those of you who don't know, is it Creed 3 or Creed 2 with Michael B. Jordan? For those of you who didn't know, the guy he was fighting there, the brother, his brother, is it his brother on Creed or the friend? I don't know if it's the brother or the friend in Creed. But that guy is Michael. He's also Michael. There's two Michaels, but he goes by the name of Johnathan Majors. So the middle name is Michael. So he is an American actor, and after graduating in Yale University with a master's in fine art in acting, Meg just rose to fame for starring in the independent film called The Last Black Man in San Francisco. And currently, he was born in the United States, but he looks Nigerian, if I may. But he looks Nigerian, yes. He looks Nigerian, born in California, United States, at 1989, 7th of September. He's the guy who's dating Meagan Good. For those of you who are fans of Meagan Good, Meagan Good is gorgeous, and she's gorgeous, bro. Meagan Good is gorgeous. So we've had a clip of him, Johnathan Majors, and the ex-girlfriend. So for those of you who don't know, so the 34-year-old was hit with the lawsuit, assault and harassment by the ex-girlfriend, and it's been going on trial for like 5 days now. And clips were leaked on the internet, videos were leaked on the internet, and at some point in this case, people thought Majors did it. Johnathan did it. A lot of people thought that Johnathan did what the women were saying he did. But as it turns out, I'm like, with all the evidence that we see now, I don't think that's true anymore. You know what I mean? I don't think that's true. A video came out where it showed clearly Johnathan Majors was on the right, because there was a point where she left the lady was fighting him. And he decided to run for his life, and the lady, went on to chase him, boom, 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 And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is interesting. How does someone who assaults you you don't run after someone who assaults you or harass you? How does that happen? They showed the clip, we saw it. And later on, I got to listen to one of the audios that were leaked, and Majors was actually asking the woman, I just want you to take your reins as a queen. I need you to be this person in my life. I need you to be this person. I can't have this type of a woman. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was like, I need you to be like Michelle Obama. She was like, he is that dude. He's like, I'm this dude in the world, and I'm trying to do and achieve all these things in the world, and I need someone who can represent this image or represent me this well in the public, and I can't take anything less from you, because clearly she doesn't fit the picture according to the assault case, that the assault trial now that's ongoing. And I'm like, she doesn't fit the picture. And for her to even say she was stabbed behind the ear, and I think they subpoenaed the driver, and there was an interpreter saying Johnathan Majors was on the good, because the lady was the one beating him, as opposed to Johnathan beating the lady. And they asked the driver as to if he found blood in the car. He said no, there was no blood in the car. Mind you, it's a big truck, it's a big SUV that was sitting in the middle, so there was no way that there was at the back, so he would know for sure after they go, okay, there was blood here, but there was no blood. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, okay. So they subpoenaed, they had him understand. He said what he said. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting now. That guy who's being subpoenaed, there's the general who I think he has been subpoenaed as well to take a stand. the janitor. I've seen something about the janitor taking a stand as well. I'm like, well, this is interesting. I just can't wait to hear what the janitor says. So saw a new video. After a janitor saw a new video evidence, I think she came to, I think she's the one who came through and said, okay, like, I'm the janitor who also saw what was going on. And there was also a couple that came out as well. Oh, I think the guy was against, then the lady, the ex-girlfriend, was partying with those people after the incident. And I'm like, well, if someone hurt you and you had blood coming out behind you, yeah, you would want to talk about it. You want to say anything. You wouldn't be seen partying or moving with people. Boom, boom, boom. How does that even happen? You know what I mean? For the evidence that's being presented to this point, I think, in my opinion, Johnathan Majors is innocent. You're guilty. I think Johnathan Majors is innocent. I don't know if this might be because like they might riddle you to think what it can be fabricated evidence, or we just saw a 15-minute clip outside a store. He said 30 minutes. We might not have the full picture even. So I'm just interested in seeing the verdict in this case. You know what I mean? Very interesting. And each and every day this is going through, I believe each and every time I fall and I become a diehard follower for Johnathan Majors, simply because of who he is as a person and the things he stands for as a person. So I know I was supposed to cover the Jordan part of thing. Kanye West shoe pads. For those of you, Kanye West, as you all may know, Kanye West is releasing a new album with Ty Dolla $ign, featuring people like Hedod Hanodi, people like Lil Deck, people like Chris Brown, and Vultures. Vultures is the name of the album. So alongside that, in his website, he released the pet sock shoe. Okay, it's the pet sock shoe. The pet sock shoe. You can look it up. The pet sock shoe. Yeah. When I saw someone on the internet reviewing the thingy, and I was like, oh, okay, is this where we're going with this thing? And for those of you who don't know like what the pet sock shoe is, look at what Kanye West has been wearing on the internet. Whatever those shoes are, like, I'm not with the fashion, bro. This one, it can leave me behind. This fashion can leave me behind. So for those of you who don't know, you can go onto the website there. The shoes on the Yeezy's website is $100. It's like 2,000 rands if I'm not mistaken. In SA, that's about 2,000 rands. It's about 2,000 rands, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Not of that. 1.8, 1.9, 2,000. Let's just say 2,000 rands for that. And it's the cheapest shoe. He wanted to make affordable shoes, and people were like, okay, this is a shoe, and it's making waves on the internet. People are saying, is it a cop or a drop? What's going on with this? And Ye is a creative, man, and Ye is a creative. And for those of you who don't know, the shoe was made in Italy. The shoe was made in Italy, and it does say on the internet, people see the shoe is made in Italy. And this is released alongside the Vultures merchandise for the album, which is Vulture. It's also released in there. So it's interesting, right? So just to read, what's the name of Kanye West's shoe company? Yeah, so this is the answer. Never miss a beat. Anyone who knows English music knows Kanye West, but it's not the men's music that had made him one of the wealthiest people. It's the Yeezy's venture, which started with Nike in 2009 and brought to Adidas in 2013. So they don't really say anything about their company. But the shoe, for those of you who can dress, I think I need someone to convince me on how to dress this shoe, because Ye has been dressing as far as like combo coordination or clothing coordination. I'm not sold. So the fans of this shoe, please, rescue me. What don't I know about this shoe? What don't I know about the shoe? I think you also have to have really nice. Hey, he doesn't have nice legs. Then what? He doesn't have nice legs. But okay. The shoe, I saw the shoe for those. I think he is doing promo around and taking all these pictures. I'm sure these shoes are very comfortable, but it's a nay for me. It's not a yay. It's a nay. Yay? Is it a yay or nay for you? Nay. It's a nay for me. I agree with it. But for each their own, bro. Like, we love different things, we have different tastes, So, shout out to Sway, by the way. Sway, you don't have the answers. Apparently, Sway has the answers, and Kanye, the reason Kanye is there is because of Sway, So, shout out to Sway, man. Shout out to Kanye. Shout out to everybody. So, I'd like to give you the book of the day without any wasting of time. And I know I've been saying, Wuti, Oprah Winfrey. And we are still on Oprah Winfrey even today. So the book of the day is by Oprah Winfrey. It's a collaboration between Oprah Winfrey and a guy called Moses Omojola. So the name of the book is Flight to Purpose, a step-by-step guide to your assessment to choosing a career and finding your passion and life purpose. This sounds like a very interesting book by Oprah Winfrey and Moses Omojola, which was released 2016 on August 11th. And let's check the ratings for the book. For those of you, I know you are looking for those ratings for this. So according to Google, this is what I'll read from Google. It's just a summary about the book. You have ever been bothered? Ask yourself several times quizzical questions. What is my destiny or life purpose? What is my future like? Then, how will you feel if you're in a plane or sudden you're being led to discover your life purpose before your plane touches down at your place of assignment? Okay, let me just read this one more time. Have you ever been bothered asking yourself severally, quizzically, these questions? What is my destiny of life or my purpose of life? What is my future like? Then how will you feel if you in a plane and suddenly you're being led to discover your life purpose before your plane touches down at your place of assignment? The book is by Oprah Winfrey and Moses Omojola. The name of the book is Flight to Purpose, a step-by-step guide to assessment of career and finding purpose in your life or in your passion. I'm so sorry for that. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M, Daily Report, aka Future Shorty. Maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Please do not forget to follow, subscribe to get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. Let's meet on another exciting episode of Backroomconvo with Lesego M. Cheers.